Do you want to make really high quality emails, but really reliably with AI? Well, this is the solution for you. I made this template called React Email Templates, and I'm going to dive in today showing you how to use AI to the best of your ability to create reusable, amazingly beautiful React email components. If you're not familiar with what React Email is made by our lovely friends over at Resend. And essentially, it takes all of the lovely components and everything like that of React and brings it over to emails. This includes formatting stuff so that way you can use Tailwind, and then it converts it to tables and all that other jazz. So that way everything gets properly shown up in emails. So they've got a bunch of nice little styles and tools and everything like that. And that makes it really easy for us to be able to create composable templates that we can adopt to any sort of use case. So in this video, we're going to be creating 2 different templates and then adapting those to all sorts of different use cases for my product Inbound. So let's go ahead and clone the repository, head on over to Ghosty, and open that sucker up in Cursor. So we are now in Cursor. Let's go to the editor because we don't want to use the agents field. And you can see that we've got some design system, we've got some emails, we've got some public files, and we got like this app. So what we are going to do is we're going to go to terminal. We're going to bun I to install everything. That way we don't get any of these errors. And then if we run bun run dev, which runs our development server, then we'll see on localhost 3000 that it is the React email preview server. So we can see like for these cursor emails, it's like we've got like the billion token award. We've got check-in 1 month, check-in 1 week, check-in welcome. We've got some stuff for Neon. We've got some stuff for Tembo, like their weekly report. We've got some better auth templates and everything like that. And if you notice, when you click through all of the emails in like a company like folder, it all looks and has the same vibe, which is very important because if you're sending out a lot of emails and interacting with your customers in that way, you want your emails to look familiar. You don't want your customers to open up an email and it's some vibe coded slop from an AI that basically just looks like, oh, what the hell did they do this time? Doesn't make any sense. So that's why you need to create a design system, which is really important and what this whole project is basically based on. So we can see that under all of these little subfolders, we've got these design systems. Now they're saved as TypeScript files, but it isn't so that way it can be used. I think we use them a little bit. Yeah, we do. But the main focus is just defining primary button colors, text colors, font options, background colors, border colors, all that other stuff that you can essentially rip from a website and getting it into a system that Cursor knows how to use and refine. So first up, we are going to create our design system for Inbound. So if we pull up the Inbound Figma, and you can follow along with any Figma that you have, well, let's go over to the website design. And if we go to website design, we can see that right here, we kind of have the general gist of our app. So if we zoom in a little bit, we can tell that we want this background color right here to be our background color of our email. And then we've got a nice little border color. And then we've got a secondary and a primary accent color that we can use for text and images and all that other stuff. So what we'll do is I use a helpful little tool called Shotter, which is a screenshot tool. Basically, then you can take a screen grab of an element and then bring it into this little editor. And then you can just press tab to copy the color of wherever the mouse is hovering over. So we'll go back to Cursor. We'll say, I need you to create a new design system for Inbound. Background, we'll do card background color is that, and then we'll zoom in a bunch, we'll grab that, we'll do card border color is that, and then we will do, I think this should just be standard black. Yep. Text color, font Geist medium. And then we need these colors, and then we'll grab secondary accent, primary accent, and then we will do buttons. We'll go over and grab these 2 button variants. primary button background, primary button border. And obviously I could just grab these from Figma, but it's just a little bit easier highlighting it and then kind of getting it. Secondary background color, secondary button border. And then after we give it that, then we should be good to go. Please generate a design system. Now notice that I linked the other design systems that we created. That way it has a good reference on how to generate this new design system that we're creating for inbound. All right, and while that is going off, we can now think about how we want our emails formatted. So we've got this sort of example from BetterAuth where it's kind of got the logo centered, a title, subtitle, then like a little card. We've got Autumn, which has more of a vibe that I'm sort of jiving with, where it's got like a little card component thing. It's got a footer right here, and then a primary and a secondary. So I think we're going to design our inbound emails to be used and sort of oriented like Autumn. So while that's generating, we're also going to want to get the inbound logo that we want to use for the image. So if we jump back over to Figma, we can go over to our logo and branding file, and we will just grab this, export it as a PNG, go ahead, throw that in emails, static. I'm going to save it in static, but since we're also going to be using this to actually send some test emails, I'm going to upload it to UploadThing, which is a service that is essentially like an S3 or a file storage, but I just have an unlimited account with them. So I'm just going to upload it there so that way we get a URL for that image. Great, now we got that image. So then we can go back to cursor and we can say, now generate a base welcome to inbound email using our design system, this logo, and then I provided the URL of the image, and we'll unlink it so that way it can actually see it, and have it copy the style of the Autumn emails. Just generate that first email. So here's the important part. We don't generate like 10 different email variants all at once and then try to tweak each and every one of them. We generate one. And this essentially becomes our reference email, which is what we fine tune and tweak and everything like that to make sure it's absolutely perfect. Then when we have this reference, any new email that we can create just references that initial reference. Think of it as you have to cut 100 boards to 10 feet exactly, and you've got boards of varying lengths. It's essentially cutting and making sure that first board you cut is precisely 10 feet, then using that as the reference rather than having to get out the measuring tape every single time for the rest of the boards. So now it's going ahead and creating everything. And while it's generating it, we can go back over to the React email preview and go ahead and close these other options. And we should be able to see that the inbound stuff is getting generated. So it's creating the welcome email and we will see what it does. So I just updated it because I forgot I made a rule for this. I created a rule called react email.mdc. And basically it gives a rule set. It's set to always apply, which is odd because it didn't apply. It's essentially rules on how to generate good React emails. So it says like always use Tailwind, use these font imports, use this structuring and styling. So that way we can have everything sort of automated and similar for everything else. All right, looks like it has been generated and let's take a look at it. All right, so first off, I can just tell it looks so AI. This just doesn't look good at all. So what we'll do is we'll grab a screenshot of it and we'll copy that. We'll bring it back into chat and let's make some revisions. Number 1, don't use emojis. Number 2, make sure the button height is slimmer and the width fits properly. Number 3, use outfit semi-bold, or actually let's not use Geist for the font just because it may not render correctly. Just use enter for the entire font. Make sure headings use semi-bold and everything else uses enter regular. Let's see if there's anything else. That's good. That's good. I need the inbound logo to be a bit smaller, but the card container around it is fine. Yeah, all right, let's see what that revision does to it. All right, so this is what it generated with that second version, and it's a little bit better, but it feels too big and clunky, and it gives off AI vibes personally. So what I did was I switched the AI model to GPT 5.1, which normally does better with design. Both GPT 5 and GPT 5.1 seem to have a better degree of design inclination. So we're going to see if it can copy how the Autumn emails look and feel with the fonts and design system. So we'll see if it can copy that visualization in that style more accurately. Nice. So this is a little bit better. We will go ahead and keep all of our changes. And let's go ahead and update the logo card image to be 20. So it's a little bit smaller. If we can, maybe 16. Does not seem to be updating it. Let's give it 8 pixels of padding. There we go. That looks a little bit more accurate. So then I don't like this card right here. So we'll just copy an image of that and say, I just don't like the vibe of the card. It looks too messy. Can you come up with an alternate option? Also, the button is too thick. Make the height and font smaller. Cool. This already looks better. I like the sort of vibe that it gives for the cards. It's a little bit more robust and enterprisey. So yeah, this looks good. Now, what we can do is this is our reference. We are going to have this be what we use to generate all the other emails. So we can go here and say, now using that as a reference, create a changelog email that has 4 new updates as placeholder, and each update has an image, title, and description with a link. Make sure to copy and follow our design system and React email, the React email rule that we created when generating this. And let's see what it cooks up. Alrighty, look at that. That is rough. I personally don't really like that. So we're going to refine it a little bit more and be like, hey, can you make it so they are stacked with full width images and titles and descriptions rather than in a column with rows? And I think we already did one, so it'll be like reference Timbo, I think. Let's see if that makes it a little bit better. All right, yeah, this is pretty good. Not gonna lie, it took a couple of prompts to get there. I had to switch between GPT-5 and GPT 5.1, and I finally ended on using just Claude Sonnet 4.5, which is tried and true. But once again, this would have taken forever to sort of develop, and we already got 2 emails. And now that we've further refined both of these emails, we can take it even further and say, now create a magic link email for a magic link. We'll do a 1 month check-in and 1 week check-in email for inbound. So now that we've refined these 2 emails, it kind of knows what our preferences are. So then now if we give it those prompts to create 3 more emails, it will create them and reference it, but it will also be more refined and more exact, which then allows you to iterate quicker. So that way you don't have to do this manual process for each email. You just have to do it once or twice. And then for the rest of the emails, everything has the same design system. So like, look at the magic link. There we go. That's actually perfect. And then if we look at the 1 week check-in and then the 1 month check-in, it all is formatted in the same design system and everything looks cohesive. Yeah, as that 1 month check-in finally generates. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. You can find the repository and the actual demo site in the description below. But yeah, was this helpful? Would you like to see more type of content of me talking about how I actually use AI for these situations? because I feel like a lot of this sort of AI mentality is basically just people being like, oh, I can change the world with AI, but there's not a lot of how I actually do it. So I'm going to be making videos like this to have a little bit more clarity on how I actually use agents and all that other stuff to create these sort of optimized workflows per se. But yeah, if this was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. See ya.